Hey everyone, James Lambert here. I hope you're absolutely thriving wherever this video finds you and you're really living your life with passion. Now in this video, I wanted to talk about my views on toxic masculinity. You may have heard that term. Increasingly it has permeated public awareness, which in and of itself is a good thing. Like all good things, there is obviously more than one side to the story, and it can often be misunderstood. Ironically, and rather sadly for me, by some of the men that need it the most. Now, sometimes my take on toxic masculinity can be misinterpreted, as indeed everything can. Now, this is not beating up on the male identity per se, but far more importantly, the rather more unhelpful sides of our nature, which belong to an old paradigm, an old archaic identity, which, speaking for myself, when I let go, I found far more of the peace, far more of the peace of mind, far more of the happiness and the contentment and the physical well-being and the health, mental and otherwise, that I was seeking from only pursuing an overtly hard, masculine, tough, strong, violent identity. So no, this is not just beating up on men or masculinity per se, but specifically the outdated, unhelpful sides of our nature that if we cling too readily to just because they are seen as being important. You know, every new idea at first is ridiculed, then grumbled about or hated upon, and eventually received as accepted wisdom. And in much the same way, I see this transition, if you like, of I absolutely wish to retain the prudent, the helpful sides of our nature, but allow, with a fluidity that Bruce Lee spoke about, flowing like water, with a grace, with a suppleness, with a fluidity that embraces the new. The philosophy I've coined is both-isms. So this allows one to be hard, if you like, physically, mentally, the good attributes of toughness, solidity, perseverance, strength, of indeed character, but also allowing both sides, the other side, if you like, of the coin, is to applaud equally such virtues as gentleness, kindness, compassion, peaceability, equanimity, gentleness, love, these things. So at least they are tempered, and specifically so those don't misunderstand, the alpha mentality that I urge caution in following, that overtly bigger, better, faster, stronger is better mentality. No, I seek that to be balanced and tempered. And you see, I didn't see that growing up. That wasn't mentored for me. I don't see most of our politicians advocating that, most of our leaders, most of the celebrity strongman or boxers or fighting tough guys, the again, so-called tough, the books that they write on as gangsters. So you have this skewed narrative of what it means to be male. No, I seek far more than that. I think we're worth more than that. We should aspire to be more than that. So lest it get misunderstood, I'm not beating up on being a male per se. This is somebody recently said, the system really has it in for men. I don't speak for the system. Indeed, James Lambert Coaching was born in direct rebellion against that, in part, because when I went to the so-called system, the mental health system, the counsellors within the establishment, I was failed and failed miserably. So I came up with my own philosophy. I came up with my own learning modalities, incorporating many of the established ones, yes, Jungism, the teachings of Freud, integralism, and so on and so forth. But fundamentally, I came up with my own approach, which served me well and has served the men that I serve well as well. So I think it's important to get the take on it right, and also indeed what it means to be male. It's an important question. What does that mean? What does that mean today? But I do hope in part that can change. We can have an intelligent debate on that, and things do change. At once, and there's no judgment. The world was thought, and I'm not going to get into a round world or flat earth debate, but my point is that at one point we were seen as the centre of the earth. Was it Copernicus that put forward this? And the church railed against it. They really, no, this. As new knowledge comes forth, rigidly held ideas change, and that's okay. And in the same way, I seek to at least introduce into the debate other ways of being, particularly, now here is the rub, particularly if the ways or the mentality of the alpha male, the bigger, badder, faster, stronger, tougher, harder thing patently hasn't worked for you. You see, for those that it is working, and in a particular context, more power to you. A particular strong man or power lifter, if that gets it done in that arena, fine. But you see, so many of these, they come to me in private as my clients. So externally, they masquerade as a physically strong man. Indeed, they may be, but they are suffering because they reject outright, or they are finding it very difficult to come to terms with the other side of themselves, which is equally as valid. The soft, kind, tender, loving, kind, compassionate, loving, peaceful being they are. But if you only follow the skewed narrative that it's tough, you will reject that, and there comes the incoherence, the incongruence that leads to mental health, depression, and ultimately suicide at its worst. And so yes, do I think it's important to embrace all of them and talk about it boldly, and to take a stand about toxic masculinity? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I'm all for an intelligent debate on the subject. But I just say, let's not just pretend it's one dimensional. We are so much more than that. We can aspire to be much more than that. Indeed, I think we have a duty to do so. They're my thoughts. And as I come to a close, I also want to talk about, because you see a lot of talk again about hardness, stay hard. And that's cool. That's cool. But let's also remember that if in nature a tree stays too hard and doesn't yield when the storm comes, it's hard, yeah, stay hard, it's really hard. What happens to it though? It breaks. It breaks. And in the same way as I found, you can stay hard in your mentality. You can stay teaked up. You can stay hard. Hard abs, hard mentality, hardness, tough. But at some point, life will break you if you only remain hard. So again, I invite us all to consider that there is a time for it. Of course there is, context being the important word here. There is a time to stay hard if you are training in certain circumstances. There is also a time, a season for everything, to be gentle. Important thing is not to stay in these camps. That's again the beauty of my both-ism philosophy. It incorporates and integrates both, but you don't stay there. In the same way as it's not summer or autumn, winter or spring forever, there is a season. In the same way, if you just stay hard, you can break, not prudent. In the same way, if you just stay soft, what they've termed the snowflake generation or mentality, mindset, however you coin it, that also is imprudent. That won't get you very far. So I'm saying we would take the best of these seeming polar opposites, but we integrate them, we combine them to make a powerful one. This is in part the philosophy that drives and underpins my work, James Lambert Coaching. So I'll leave it there for today. Thank you if you've watched this far. Thank you for your time and attention. I do value and appreciate it. Thanks for all of you that support my work. Thank you for all of you that choose to intelligently debate with me and not just throw out insults. Thank you for all of you that have liked my Facebook public page. Thank you for those of you who are brave enough to challenge your own demons and work with me. as clients. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all of you that leave nice comments on my YouTube videos. Thank you for those that have subscribed to my YouTube channel and followed me on Twitter. I just thank you for the support. And if you yourself would like to work with me in my capacity as a coach or a mentor, please do get in touch. I work on a one-to-one capacity, and also I offer a 3-month Unstoppable Blueprint program. And this is 12 steps to success.